Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how to use the rusty powder. So what you need is you need your rusty powder. You also need some Powtex, so you need either ivory or transparent, both is even better. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop out a little bit of Powtex. You also will need a mix of 50-50 vinegar and water in a spray bottle. So I've got that all ready to go here. So this has vinegar in it. Now when you do this, you want to actually mix this to like a mousy grey colour. When I first started doing it, I didn't use enough of the rust powder, and if you don't use enough, you won't get a good result. So you can see I've just taken a puddle of that Powtex. I haven't used it all, and I've just mixed it in with the rusty powder. If anything, it could probably do with maybe a little bit more, which is what I'm going to go for. And then we'll just mix that in. Now, so you want it to be sort of a dark grey colour like that. If you don't put enough of the rusty powder or the vinegar to activate it, what actually happens is that the Powtex just doesn't go rusty and you get a grey effect on your artwork, which isn't very nice. So as well as that, I've also got 3D sand and balls. So this is actually the sand, and these are the sand and balls. With the sand is really great to pop in to the mix because it makes it more gritty, like real rust, which is really actually very nice. So you can see straight away it actually gives you a bit more dimension. So I might even put bit more of that in, and you can see it's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I'll put a bit more of that, so it's also a very aesthetic choice. Now that's looking a lot more interesting. It's got a bit more body and it's got a little bit of grit, so that is the nice thing about the rust and the sand together. You're going to get this lovely gritty sort of mix, and don't forget we're also going to be putting vinegar onto that. So I've got a pre-painted black surface here that I've just painted with some black Powtex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that straight on to there. That mix. Now at this stage I've got no vinegar in it, so I do need vinegar to actually activate the rusty powder, and it will take overnight, so it will take sort of 24 hours to change colour, and what you can expect once it changes colour is something like that. So this has a black background, and then it's got Powtex ivory and transparent used with the rusty powder. You can see the nice thing with the balls, when you put them into it, they actually absorb the rust as well, so because they have that absorbency, so that's a really nice thing. So I'll show you a couple more bits, so you can expect that this will actually change to be something like that. Okay. So we can actually take some of these balls and just sprinkle those onto there, and like I say, they're actually going to absorb the rust as well, which is really nice. So that's one mix. You can try a whole lot of different mixes. So I can make this mix that I made before, I can make it a bit more gritty, I can add a bit more rusty powder to it, and I can try adding some other bits and pieces. So I can pop a bit more of the sand in. I could even put some of the small balls into that mix as well. So I actually put it into the structure mix. And then of course we'll need a bit more rusty powder. because we don't want to dilute it so much that we lose our rust. And then we can mix all of that up. We might need a bit more Powtex in there. Fun, look at that. Nice. So you can see it's quite intuitive, and you can try all sorts of different things. So the other nice thing that you can do with it is you can also put it through a stencil. As well as that, you can get a clean palette knife and we can work with the easy structure. So the easy structure is really interesting with the rusty powder as well. So you can actually take your structure paste and you can pop your rusty powder straight into your structure paste. Now, obviously this is going to be more structural. I'm a bit swampy here on this one. I might just put that one aside. So the nice thing about using a pre-coloured background is that you get the colour coming through from underneath. So instead of it just being one colour of rust, you're actually going to get the contrasting colour, which is really, really fabulous. So you can see it's quite an experimental process. So any ideas you have, just have a go. But the main thing is that you're using enough rusty powder and then enough vinegar to actually activate it. So I've got that structure paste on there now. And again, we can actually take some of the balls into it. So this time I'm going to put some larger ones onto it. And less is more as well. So it's quite nice to have the larger ones. Then you work down in size. You can get these as a sample pack if you just want to try them. And the nice thing about working down in size is that they kind of fall in between the larger size. And so you can see that's happening already with those medium-sized ones. They're falling in between the larger ones that I put down. And then this final layer is absolutely gorgeous. You get some really lovely texture. And like I say, the rust should actually get absorbed up into those. So of course, once I've got that down, I'm going to actually spray it with my vinegar and water mix as well. And I'm going to keep repeating that process so that I spray it around about 3 times so that it really activates the vinegar, but I don't lose the structure at the same time as I'm doing it. So when you have a background colour, you can expect that your rust will go more like these colours here. So you can see the contrast of the background colour working with the rust colour is actually really, really, really effective. So another example of that is if we have a look at this one, you know, you can see that this is the background colour where this is the activated rust on top of that. All right. Okay, so now we've got this. Let's have a little bit of a play with some of the transparent Powtex. So it does dry clear and you're going to get a sort of deeper rust colour with the transparent. So we'll just pop a little bit of that on here. And this time I'm literally just going to use the rusty powder and transparent. So this will actually give me a different colour rust. So it sort of goes more orangey, like a deeper real rust. So a lot of what you do with this product is really just play. And I sometimes even like to just get my Powtex. So this is, again, it's the transparent one. So that's just going to give you a bit of clear that will just create another layer. And then we just wait and see what it does overnight. Good fun. And there we are. Spray it with vinegar and let it activate. So we can pop that one aside. This one that we did earlier, if we wanted to, we could actually add more than that. So you do want to create a decent puddle with the vinegar and water mix, and I would repeat that about 3 times. And then you'll find that the next day you actually end up with a lovely rusted piece. So with this actual piece, this here is where the transparent was, so where you've got that sort of more deeper sort of colour. This is with structure paste and sand and the ivory, and the underneath layer that I created first in this is actually done just with ivory Powtex and Bista. So you would just let that first layer dry and then work your rusty layer on top. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I can't wait to see some of your pieces. So make sure that you join the Powtex Australia group and you post what you actually make on there so that we can see all your rusty bits. And if you're working on sculptures as well, you can actually rust your sculptures. So have a play, enjoy.